Tag Show. Tag Show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed. Okay.
What's up, everybody? You are listening and watching a brand new episode of the Mixed Tag Show with
Jenna and Blue.
Purple. What's up, Blue? How are you?
Purple? Really? What you get from that? I'm doing all right. Kind of sad. I broke my Apple Watch this past week. So it's been a downhill from there.
I'm trying to tell you, put blue and red together, you get purple. Why? How did you break it?
So my wedding ring kind of slips off from time to time. So I was driving to work. It was one of those bad mornings. I was late, no breakfast, whatever case may be. And my wedding ring falls off. When I'm like, I forgot what I was doing. So I'm reaching back to go get it, and my AirPod fell. So I'm reaching down to get my AirPod between my seats. And when I'm reaching down, I guess it got caught up on the side panel and lifts up the screen.
Oh,
So,
shit.
yeah. So now I'm like, I know they can't fix that. So I'm like, I'm asked out. So now I have to get another Apple Watch, which is fine because I was going to get the upgraded one anyway. But I just feel naked without an Apple Watch.
Now this is an incentive to get a new one. But anything that gets caught in between those, what is it, the chair and I guess the
Panel.
Whatever, yeah, for the seatbelt thing, it's a wrap.
I get one of those pocket things. They sell something that catches everything that falls between there.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Man, my hand is small, but it still hurts to try to
get
something in there. It's a trap, basically. So.
And also, it was Valentine's Day, so I got the wife Apple Watch for Valentine's Day.
Wait.
Oh.
Does she know right now?
Yeah, she knows. We did it at midnight because I couldn't hide it because I did the purchase. I did it for last minute on our joint account. We joined all our accounts together. She would peep it in the morning because she checks the accounts in the morning. So I'm like, hey, let's because she ain't expected to next week. So I'm like, hey, can I get my Valentine's Day gift now since it's like midnight? She's like, yeah, sure. And then she gave it to me, and I went to take the garbage out, and then I got her gift out the trunk. And she's like, oh, I didn't expect this till next week, and thank you, and all that stuff. So she got me a shaver for my head so it could be faster and easier. I'm excited.
Oh man, gift.
Right, I feel so old now. I'm not happy about video games. I'm glad about an electric shaver to shave my bald head.
I remember for Christmas, I was so excited to get a freaking a grill / air fryer, and I'm like, the year before that, I was so excited to get freaking tires for my
right.
Really, the days of being excited about games and shit are no longer.
Yeah, it becomes normal. You just buy them randomly now. Like, all right, let me just get this game.
Legit, because I still have my video games for my system and whatever that I still have not played, and I say, yo, this is gonna be the weekend or the day. And anyway.
And I still play every day. At least try to get an hour in.
Right.
How was your week?
My week was cool. Same old, nothing too crazy.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't think anything too exciting has happened.
How about wrestling wise?
In regards to what?
Just what happened this week or the past 2 weeks. Anything exciting for you?
This might be a short episode because
not a lot happened.
There's just the road to Wrestlemania is here. Obviously, we see on AEW, the whole Bullet Club thing is alive. And
told you guys, wait for it.
So there's little bits and pieces here and there that are intriguing, but how I've been feeling for months. The overall wrestling scene is very lackluster.
Right.
That's how I feel. What about you?
Oh, you already know. I'm excited about this whole partnership. I don't know if you want to get into it. You want to wait a bit? All right, so basically the partnership between New Japan, AEW, Impact is like full blown on the way. We've seen Kenta in the past 2 weeks pop up and recently tag team his Bullet Club former brother, or he wasn't doing it together, but seeing them tag team with AEW together and actually help each other out and win. And then now it was announced on Surrender, I believe it's called, the people for Impact, that Juice Robinson and Fit Finley's son, Dave Finley, is going to be on Impact this Tuesday. So it's like those three has worked out a situation.
Definitely, you text me very excited about that.
Yeah, I actually watched some of Surrender. I was too tired to finish it. Well, I'm gonna probably finish it sometimes this week. But yeah, I was very excited for that because that means that it's really on the way. And apparently, New Japan and Impact had their relationship fixed before the whole AEW situation because New Japan wanted access to the Good Brothers, and they had past relationships that fell out from previous owners. But this is very interesting in the time for wrestling.
How do you feel about that though? Like different promotions like tag teaming and coming together. Like would it I know this would never happen, but like let's say in an alternate universe, WWE decided like, okay, we can do some cross promotion with AEW or Impact or whatever. Do you think that's a good idea for like the business itself, or like
I think it's a great idea for the business because at the end of the day, look what's for like no offense to WWE. I know a lot of WWE fans are going to say something, but like look at the WWE product right now. Most of the reason why it's not as excited is because we've seen all of this happen already with these same people. And a lot of the people that's the younger people that you could have used, you don't really use like that, i.e. Ricochet and people like that. You just had the same people at the top. Now, if you had different promotions to grab from and create new storylines, and it expands how many times we're gonna see the same people wrestle each other. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is a great partnership in the sense of you get dream matches. You know what I mean? You get pop-ups that you didn't expect to happen. Like, oh shit, this happening. Like, we didn't expect to see Kenta or AEW, and then they had a fire main event.
match. I always say this, I feel I'm just not a fan of the product.
Right.
So, but to see that was pretty dope. Yeah, I hear you for sure.
So I feel like, I feel like eventually WWE's gonna feel that heat. I know that Triple H says that they're open to partnerships, but we know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is though, like, I agree. I think it'd be good just to see dream matches, and sometimes like the product gets stale, right? As it is, right? You have a few people that are shining throughout the this particular moment, but the overall product is stale. So you bring in other people you would think you would have seen face each other because they're on a different promotion or whatever the case might be. And now you have a whole nother thing. But my issue is with that, if that was to ever happen, I just feel like it wouldn't be what we're expecting. Just because with WWE, there's some like they're stuck on the entertainment portion
Yeah.
of wrestling, whereas other promotions might be focused on actual wrestling, like with like New Japan, right? Or
Yep.
you're gonna see actual wrestling. Whereas if you partner, like I don't know, give me someone from like Naito or something like that versus Seth Rollins. I'm just throwing names out, right? That'd be crazy, right? But
fire.
If it happened on New Japan, that would be a dope ass match.
Right.
Whereas WWE, it'd be over script and produced and just very not gimmicky.
Hold back, because you don't want to outshine everybody else on the card.
Yeah, and what comes to mind when I think of that is AJ Styles.
Exactly.
Right? We what they were capable of from New Japan, and then as soon as we got our quote unquote dream match for WrestleMania, it was a dud, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just like I think that'd be a fantastic and just like I guess revolutionary or just fresh.
It's fresh, not revolutionary because they used to do that with the territories back in the day.
Right, it would be revolutionary, but it'd be fresh and something where we don't have to pick sides and just everyone just enjoys wrestling. But again, I just feel like if it was like controlled on WWE's spectrum, like end of the spectrum, it'd be overproduced and gimmicky. Whereas if it was on another promotion, you get a fire match.
Right. And I often think about is like how everybody talks how when Vince McMahon bought the company from his father, one of the promises that he made his father that he wouldn't do what he's doing now. I find that very interesting because I would think like what would you think if Vince McMahon did live up to his promise to his dad allegedly, and now he would have this promotions that he could have teamed up with even with WCW. It did a
You lost me there. What was it? The promise?
The promise was to never to like go like sports entertainment, focus on the wrestling, don't like break up the territories. Because eventually when Vince came through, he bought a lot of the territories, and that's what his dad kind of didn't want to happen. So I might be wrong in that history, but that's what I remember hearing. So I just think like, how would it be different if he didn't?
Yeah, I mean, I think bringing up that point, I guess we can wrap this discussion point up. Money talks, right? After a while, if shareholders and different companies
When you go
want
public,
want this entertainment aspect, and then they keep throwing and dishing out money, you're gonna oblige to that. So it's like, it's unfortunate that, again, it is entertainment. It's just there needs to be a balance. Like, it's wrestling and it's entertainment, so there should be a balance. But again, I love to see that these promotions are teaming up and we get to see old partnerships or new partner matchups we might not have been able to see before. So it's very
like
exciting.
think about that, a real war of the worlds, like each promotion representing themselves in triple threat matches, and that's gonna be
Yeah,
crazy.
and it's just kind of like, and it wouldn't be like, oh, WWE has to have the upper hand. It'd just be an evenly match of just great
Equal.
from each promotion. It's just,
And I'm hearing Ring of Honor is not too far behind on the deal.
yeah, I
That was
mean,
kind of the reason why they got rid of Marty Scurll to start that, because that whole situation, him, just to clear that up a little bit and then start focusing on tying that in as well.
yeah. So I mean, it's definitely exciting. It would bring more eyes to different products. I mean,
Should I
promotion.
watch Impact? I said I never watch Impact, and I watch Impact.
We'll see how this turns out. But that's definitely exciting news for like wrestling fans in general. That's not just I'm gonna be an AEW mark, or I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
WWE mark. It's just like someone people who genuinely love wrestling. That's exciting news.
So speaking about money talks, I know you heard about WWE $1 billion deal with Peacock over the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
How you feel about that? So no more WWE Network, I'm guessing.
No, it's no. Essentially, you sign on to Peacock if I'm not mistaken, and that's how you get your content. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out because I I enjoyed, even though I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I sit here and watch WWE Network every day, but I
Right.
like the fact that I can at my own leisure. Hey, I want to watch, I don't know, 1994 Royal Rumble.
Facts.
Let me tune in and watch that. And if maybe that's going to be the same layout. It's just under Peacock. I'm not too familiar with the
The deal. The
detail
structure. Yeah.
structure of it. But what it comes off to me is you go on to Peacock and it's just going to be like airing, kind of like, okay, at 8 o'clock we're going to show this Broken Sessions, and then Broken Skull Sessions, and then at 8:30 or at 9 o'clock, whatever, we're going to show.
This
And
random episode.
yeah, just kind of like if you're watching a TV channel, and then at every half an hour or hour it's a new episode or something. So that's my impression. If that's not the case, then cool, whatever. Um, but I was fine with how the WWE Network was, and I was able, like, again, I'm able to watch the things that I want to
On
watch.
demand.
So we'll see. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. Do you have the details of the deal, or?
No, the only thing I know is that it's $1 billion over 4 or 5 years. Nobody really knows the structure of how it's going to be done. I know they're supposed to take place sometime in March, I think, this year, right? I have Peacock because I have Xfinity. I've never used Peacock. I've seen them promoting Peacock since last year with these new episodes from different stars and whatever the case may be. I've never been interested to look over at Peacock. I'm interested to see what happens to the app of WWE Network, because we have it on our gaming systems, we have it on our TV. So what is that? Just disappears? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do we log in? So the login you have for WWE Network, does that still work for Peacock or no? Like they have to find time to break this down to the audience. Another thing I'm starting to realize with the WWE Network is constantly changing every 6 months and in a year. You don't keep people like that. We keep changing your base. Like nobody knows what's going on anymore. 1 minute it's like $9.99. Then you have this new free base. Then you have this, you know what I'm saying, like different tiers, and it's constantly changing. And I understand that business changes, but when you have a audience like WWE, this doesn't work. People don't like change. But I understand that being with Peacock, you're trying to reach out to a broader audience that's not necessarily sport like wrestling fans, but more so sports entertainment. Um,
But I think that's a dumb thing because at the end of the day, wrestling, let's keep it 100. Wrestling is not popular like it was in the 90s, early 2000s, in the 80s or whatever. It. I feel like no matter what they do, it's not gonna bring back
Nostalgia.
the fans that used to watch daily. That's done with. So the thing is to focus on the dwindling fan base that you have because again there was a time where you would never think Raw would be constantly in ratings 1 point whatever million.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Even I think even back when they had their like 94, 95, 96 when it was like not as good. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was ever that low.
I think so
Yeah, I
either.
don't know because I was
We're
young.
not we're not stats experts.
Exactly. It's just like they do things to alienate the fan base, and it's just like they don't care. And it's like, yeah, you're getting these $1 billion deals, and that's great,
But who they
but
benefiting?
it's not because then if the fans are not tuning in or the fans are not in or into what you're doing, it's like then what's the point? It's just again it comes off as greed, which is not a surprise. It's not something that I'm saying that's new, but
Right.
we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna
But
subscribe to it just because I like having the WWE network or just be having like at my
access
own
to it.
access to it. And I know there's a couple of things that's coming up, Wrestlemania, you know, the broken skull session with Stone Cold and Sasha. I'm excited for that. So there's just a lot of things that I'm gonna still watch and utilize on there. So we'll see.
But to your point, with the $1 billion deal, you would think that the company is very flourishing in terms of money. The 1.1 billion dollar deal over the 4 or 5 years gives you about like 250 million dollars a year to do what you need to do. But then now you're telling your employees going into the next topic is that you're freezing their bonuses and promotions and all of that nature. What does that entail? Like, what are you doing with this money? That this is a 2020 was the most profitable year for WWE. Yeah, it's also the year where they've released a lot of wrestlers, furloughed a lot of employees, and making these great deals. But I don't see, like they said that on SmackDown, the morale was bad, not just for the people that was affected, but by the wrestlers as well that felt bad for these people that's working constantly for the company and basically not getting anything in return in terms of bonuses and that nature. So it constantly is giving them a bad look to the fans, in my opinion.
But this is a conversation we've had time and time and time and time again. Even last year when the cuts were made and the employees were furloughed, and when we found out how much in like cash reserves this company has to protect themselves from if things went bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so many, and it's just time and time again we hear how greedy Vince McMahon is, and people that are in the higher ups,
The shareholders.
and it just seems like, and then they don't care because again, you have the writing is on the wall. People are not tuning in. People are not happy with the product, but you still do things that benefits only you, and it's unfortunate because again, we have this conversation time and time again with a lot of wrestlers. Like unless you're like big time, and even still we don't know what their contracts are and what have you for the bigger stars. But a lot of these wrestlers that are not big stars and they're probably they're mid carders or or just up and coming, they more or less have the same salaries as regular, you know what I mean? Regular
Right.
people, you know, probably worse because they're independent contractors. They don't
Right.
have health insurance. They don't have like benefits like 401k or a pension when they retire.
Unemployment.
So it's like when it's all said and done, who's going to protect these people that have been putting their body on the line for years? You know, it's not a forgiving sport, but it's unfortunate that we still have to have this conversation. And the fact that this company made its most profitable year last year during a pandemic when people have lost their lives, their jobs, everything. Yet this company still found a way to be profitable. And you can't compensate the people that bust their ass and risking their life, not only their body but their health.
Yeah.
Right? Because COVID is dangerous, right?
You wouldn't think so, right?
Like they're literally coming into this arena every week, trusting others, hope and taking tests, trusting others are social distancing and not getting sick, you know, and then having to perform with those people with no mask on.
Yeah.
And you don't know if that person did come. You are like, it's just so many.
It's a lot.
And it's just like it's unfortunate to hear that, but what's new? It's kind of like
Yeah. So staying on WWE product, we've seen this past couple of weeks Edge and Bianca basically navigate through all three brands. Not so much Bianca. She's more, huh?
NXT. Yeah.
No, she didn't go to NXT.
I think it's more so because she just came up from NXT.
Yeah, there's no point for her to go backwards this early anyway. She has no beef with EO to convince her to go back. If it was like Shayna Baszler, who's still champion down there, who was it that she kept losing to in NXT? Was it Shayna?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it was Shayna still champion, then I would see her go back like, nah, I need to run this back. But it's another EO. But you've seen Edge over at NXT, which did it help the ratings? I didn't look at it.
No, I saw it. No, I don't think it did actually. I don't think it. Now that I'm looking, that I remember, it was still where NXT typically stays at for their ratings.
Okay.
It didn't help.
They had a hard competition that night when they had Kenta and Omega tag teaming in the main event.
Yeah, I mean, but even outside of that, it's even if it's hard, it's competition. I feel like, and this is no knock on to Edge, but I feel like if you're like a superstar that everybody wants to see, again, I'm not saying that for Edge, people are going to tune in regardless.
Right.
So, so I don't think it was necessarily because of the competition. I just think, a lot of people are checked out when it comes to NXT.
And also, who really thinks that he's going to choose Finn Balor? Just be honest.
I mean,
it's cool because it's cool
to see him and Pete Dunne and all that.
Yeah, it was dope. It was a dope interaction between the three, and I love it a lot. Just like how Randy Orton has teased, carrying cross. That's interesting as well. But I feel like the main products of Raw and SmackDown ignored NXT so much that it doesn't even matter what people do on social media. Everybody knows it's not going to come into fruition.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just a lot, and it's surprising because Triple H has done so well with NXT for the past few years. So this past year or so has just been really like lackluster. And
I think the crowd played a lot of big role with that too. Like their crowd was really a staple. And Morrow, people don't want to really admit that, but that was another staple. So when you lose two staples to your product, it's kind of hard to replace them.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time too, it's like, again, this is nothing new that we're saying. I feel like there's a lot of like NXT's missing quality stars.
Yeah.
That is like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna tune in. I gotta see this person, because then all that comes together with great announcing work, and then the crowd, and then really, really good matches. Like I feel like they're grasping at straws when it comes to Undisputed.
Yeah.
like I said, there's bright spots in the women's division, like Shotzi, she's dope. They brought in Tony Storm. Ember Moon coming back was good. Dakota Kai has been doing well, and then Raquel Gonzalez, right?
Mercedes Martinez.
And Mercedes Martinez. So you have there's
The components.
some components there, but overall, like for me specifically, the men roster, and that's just been kind of the thing with WWE, is very lackluster, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
but
It's flailing. But just to switch gears and stay on topic, so what do you think about Bianca? Do you really think that she's gonna go with Sasha? There's been talks that she might go after Asuka because Asuka's not really doing nothing right now.
no, I think the match is there for her and Sasha. It'd be they for WWE, that'd be so stupid. Where the potential is right, like two black women for the first time ever facing each other at WrestleMania, and that could
Yeah.
potentially be the main event. That's how they were talking on Talking Smack this past Saturday. Like,
Okay.
he was like hyping it up to Sasha, like, you would be the two first African American black women, whatever, to main event WrestleMania. So I don't
Maybe
know.
we probably, but there's like I would love to see the Bianca versus Sasha. We talked about our opinions on that, but it just hurts to see Asuka just flailing in the wind.
Asuka's so decorated. Like when you look at her accolades, she's no question a Hall of Famer, right? But when
Right,
you dig deep into it, like
like the product of it.
you peel off the different like layers, and you see like it'd be crazy to say, oh, Asuka deserves more because like from the outside looking in, you're like, what the fuck you mean she deserves more? She has this, that, and the third.
Multiple titles and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
No. She deserves more.
Kind of how we were saying up until last year with Sasha, right?
Right.
Like everything finally came, the way it was supposed to for her. But it's I don't know, and but then who does again if Bianca faces Asuka, who does Sasha?
And that's the problem they have it right now. Like even Corey Graves tweeted that she misses the monstrous Asuka that he was legit afraid of. You know what I mean? We don't see that anymore. And to your point, you're right. If Bianca does choose Asuka, who does Sasha go against? There's nothing really on that side either. So I feel like at this it's a lot of flailing in the wind. I mean, I feel like they could build up Naomi, but they have her back tag team with Lana, and
that's my thing about with Naomi. It's two different times you bring her back at Royal Rumble, she kills it, and that's you immediately think, yo, let me
put her in tag team
with Lana, and this is no disrespect to Lana, but at this particular point, Naomi deserves. She can face Asuka.
Get another run.
And Naomi didn't she just pinned Shayna?
Yep.
So it's like, why isn't that's a formidable person that I can see facing Asuka? Turn Asuka heel because the face thing just works for Naomi. Turn her into a heel. Now you telling me at WrestleMania you have Asuka versus Naomi and then Sasha versus Bianca.
That's I would love to watch.
Get the fuck up. But the thing is, it's again like WWE has tunnel vision. Like if you like Sasha's the champion, she has a feud with this person and no one else is doing anything. Although right. I do like on SmackDown that what they're doing with Bayley in a sense that they're having her face different
people. I also like what they're doing. I kind of low key like what they're doing with Charlotte and the whole Ric Flair situation. The only thing I don't like is I see where it's going. So we can move on to Elimination Chamber if you don't mind. I feel like they're gonna go into it, huh?
Edge.
You said what?
We didn't really talk about regards to Edge.
Well, Edge, I feel like, and that's the thing with the Elimination Chamber too. That's what I want to see is that I have a feeling that they're gonna have Randy Orton win the title and have him face Edge at WrestleMania. I feel like there's something that's not done there. You know what I'm saying? Like they went face to face at Royal Rumble, but that was it. but I feel like they're gonna play that to, you know how they play it to the end, like
Who faces Roman?
that's the question, like right. So the same thing with Elimination Chamber says he's not in Elimination Chamber match. You change it for what reason? It's we don't know. Like it's weird. What are they gonna bring Jay back to turn on his cousin? Because they're saying they can't get The Rock. So they're gonna go back to all right, Jay's getting tired of playing, you know what I'm saying? Like feeling like he's man enough to take over the head of the table. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's different ways they can play it on that end. But I really feel like with the Elimination Chamber, they're gonna end up being Randy Orton versus
Before you get it, so before we get into regards to the women and the elimination chamber, even though they don't have,
they didn't announce nothing yet. That's the problem. And that's the question.
before you get into elimination chamber, I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, oh this is my daily tweet. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair need to main event WrestleMania. Obviously, there's 2 nights, so there's obviously going to be 2 main events.
Yeah.
Some people, a lot of people were on board, obviously, because they know the historical feat that would be.
Mm-hmm.
But then others was like, oh no, Edge and Roman should main event, and I'm just like, well, why? And this is again, I love Roman. He's one of my favorite superstars. Edge is gonna be Edge, but my thing is, why do they like it? This is a new point because there's 2 nights. But my thing is,
right.
If there wasn't 2 nights, why does someone who has already main evented numerous of times, men that already have these accolades,
right,
get that over 2 black women? One, again, a lot of people can argue this because Roman's a guy, this and that and third, but Sasha has been the face of the company.
Yeah. This
past year, she has been the face of the company. You can't deny the fact that if someone that is Sports Illustrated number one wrestler, not male or female, number 1 wrestler of the year, when you look at the ratings, they go up when she's on TV. And I'm not going to get into it because people who listen to the
We've
show,
done this
time and time again. And then at this point, Bianca's fresh. You saw all the coverage that she got,
right?
I was on someone's page, Sean King, his page, and I saw him post about Bianca winning.
Yeah,
there's all these different places everywhere. So you're telling
7 Complex, you name it, on Good Morning America.
You're telling me based off of that, so you have this big time wrestler in Sasha Banks, who's a Disney star on The Mandalorian, Star Wars, and then you have
Bianca 500.
You have all this media coverage. Why would, again, as the owner or the higher up of this company, I'm gonna be like,
or whatever department that handles this, it's like, yo,
I'm gonna see that and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go with someone else's main event. No, that doesn't make sense.
This is money.
That's money. And outside of the fact that this is what the things that are coming with it, there's 2 black women. 2 black women.
Never been done before. 2 black people main event in WrestleMania. Never done before.
And take it a step further, just main eventing WrestleMania. And you know they're gonna put on a good match because you already know how Sasha is with her and talent, and Bianca's just
fortune.
And that wasn't her background, right? And she took to it just like, and her story is really, really amazing. So why wouldn't that be your main event if there was only 1 night, hypothetically speaking?
Right.
So, needless to say, that's not the case. So whatever, we don't have to like worry about that. But that has on one of those nights, it has to, because then you're honestly dropping the ball.
Not even the ball. You're dropping like a globe, like the spear, whatever the biggest ball you can think of. Like this is what you're dropping.
Yeah. So so hopefully we get that. Right.
So how do you feel about the Elimination Chamber matches? I know they haven't announced anything for the women yet, which I feel like that's weird. Isn't it like 2 weeks away or some shit?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure. And again, I don't. Have you seen Oscar? Have you seen Oscar on Raw?
I didn't even watch Raw, to be honest with you.
I didn't watch it this past week
They
myself.
told me not to. Like, I asked people like, "Yo, is it worth watching?" They're like, "Nah." I'm like, "All right."
No, what I don't think she's been on. She's been on.
I think she's been. She has a match coming up with Lacey Evans on Raw.
Oh, that's what I think. That's what's happening at Elimination Chamber. Her and Lacey.
Yeah. No, that's on Raw.
Is it on Raw?
It's on Raw, I think. I might be wrong though, because I don't really. Let me just look it up real quick.
Let me see. Oscar versus Lacey Evans. Well, even if it's on Raw or not on Raw, it's just like no. It's at Elimination Chamber.
Okay, that's
My thing is how does like again, this is not to shade Lacey because you know at the end of the day, all these wrestlers are doing things that we can't do.
Mm-hmm.
I give them that. I give them that much. But we saw it doesn't work with Lacey, right? Becky tried her darndest when they kept feuding. Bailey tried with Lacey. Sasha tried with Lacey, and
It's not catching on.
She needs work. She needs work, right? She has a good character. I will always say that, but she needs work. And then there was her match with Charlotte that you can see that the timing was off and it was awkward, right? So with all of that said, you put all those components together. How does Lacey Evans get the championship against Asuka? Then you talk about Asuka, one of the greatest women's wrestlers ever. She's what is again? They keep throwing like people that are not worth Asuka's time.
You see the worry on my face, right?
I see it. Like I don't understand.
You see where this is going? What I just said earlier. Lacey Evans versus Charlotte at WrestleMania.
So Lacey's gonna win the title?
Yes. Ric Flair's in her corner. How she's not gonna win?
That's not a bad story when you think about it. It's just that again, I've been mentioning this a lot, peeling off the different layers. Asuka deserves more.
Yeah.
Even if you said Asuka was gonna lose to Lacey at Elimination Chamber, let it have been that she had a nice run. She's barely doing anything with that title. 1. 2, Lacey is not strong enough. You can't tell me in a million years that I'm gonna believe Lacey's gonna defeat Asuka. Right? Again, and then it's the situation at WrestleMania. Again, Charlotte gets another opportunity and might potentially win. And hold on to that title. You know what I mean? So it's just like
same song.
The story would before the story, if you told me Charlotte hasn't had a title opportunity in a while, which she hasn't because she
hasn't. But she don't need it.
Don't need it, but it's because she's been out. If she hadn't been out, we would have seen Charlotte and Asuka, multiple times last year for that Raw Women's title after her the NXT Women's title. So that's my thing. Had you told me Charlotte has not been in any title picture, she was putting over talent and just going with the flow for the past year or so, kind of like how Bliss has been doing, right?
Right.
More for Bliss facing Asuka because I like the character work that she's been doing.
They're about to ruin that too.
And then a lot of people haven't been in favor for Bliss. I personally enjoyed that character run.
I have too.
Right. So and then on top of that, she hasn't been in the title picture in what, a year or two. So
yeah.
And I always say this, like, okay, other people get their opportunities, and then you come back around, and then you get your opportunity. If you said that was the case for Charlotte, then I'd be like, you know what, cool, fine, let's see this. But that's not the case. The girl came back from her injury.
Was she like 14-time champion?
Huh?
They say she
became a Grand Slam champion.
She's a 14-time champion now, right?
So it's just like, but you're right. That's definitely what's gonna happen. You're absolutely right. That's going. I'm this time I'm siding with you like the real film.
This is what it's set up for. Like a random match at Elimination Chamber. Like
That's why
what?
when you said I already see this is gonna happen, and I was like, Lacey's gonna win.
Yeah.
People are gonna be up in arms.
At this point, Oscar need to leave. I'm sorry. That's when the rest of the
Up in arms if and when this girl wins. And I'm just like,
all right. So we'll save our predictions for Elimination Chamber until we get some more information coming in as it comes in. So since we're closing out Elimination Chamber match, let's talk about what happened. As you know, guys, breaking the fourth wall. Vengeance happens. What are you looking for Vengeance? Like, what are you looking forward to seeing?
breaking the fourth wall. You know what? I like the.
Is it breaking the third wall or fourth wall? What's the saying?
I guess it would be the fourth wall. I've never heard of the third wall.
Okay.
I'm interested in this card. I'm actually going to tune in tonight. So
obviously, yeah, me too.
This airs. It would have happened. So we didn't discuss it, but we can discuss the results next week. But I'm interested in obviously the NXT Women's Triple Threat match.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's nice to see.
It's crazy how Martinez just hopped out of Retribution. She was in Retribution, and then like after the first episode, she's like, "Yeah, nah, this ain't for me," and went back to NXT.
But that
I think
the point that they were just like kind of switching people around or whatever.
No, it was two women, and then she was like, "Nah, this ain't for me," and dipped off.
I didn't even know, but yeah, she's a force to be reckoned with. So that's very exciting. And Io, is she finally? How a lot of people were just kind of like Io needs her due, and that she's finally held this title, and is finally getting the recognition and
definitely
time as the champion she deserves. And then Toni Storm, she's dope. So we'll see.
I'm looking forward to this Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne.
That too,
that's gonna be a barn burner.
That's gonna be a fire match. Yeah, like this card I'm very intrigued by this card, and then you have the tag team, the Dusty Rhodes tag team matches, women and men. So that's very exciting. So
it's a nice full card.
Nice card. So we'll see what the results are, and then we'll come back next week and discuss it. Oh, and I guess we can discuss it next week or whatever. But we didn't get the chance to talk about your boy Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. The Boricua connection.
Yeah, okay. Even though he sold the most merchandise, sold out.
We don't have to wait till next week just to kind of close it out. That's what wrestling fans are so close-minded, or some of the wrestling fans are close-minded. Like, this is a man that he has way more followers combined for most superstars in WWE. On social media, he's like a global sensation, not just a Latin sensation, but a global sensation. So for anybody to be like, "Oh, who's Bad Bunny?" This and that and third, you're living under a fucking rock. Even if you might not.
He's in your commercials or your favorite food products.
Like this, when I say this man is the man, he is the man. So it's just like
it's sad it paired him up with Damian Priest though.
I like Damian Priest. I do. I do. He's from New York. He's Puerto Rican.
So favoritism.
I got to go off of my people, man. So
hard pass.
I think he's dope. Hey, he's dope. He's good on the mic. He has great in-ring work. You see Lucky right there. You see his head right there.
I see Lucky.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to see this great in-ring work that you're talking about. I was like, let me stop.
It wouldn't be an episode if Blue wasn't hating on someone, so it's all good.
Yo, if you know me, you know my history with the whole situation with Punishment Martinez.
Damian Priest, that's his name now.
The Latin Corbin.
That notes that
that's what I'm saying on Twitter. I had me cracking up.
I think he's much better than Corbin. But anywho, that is our show.
That's our show.
We'll be back next week. Right? We'll be back next week.
Yep. If you haven't already, follow us on Twitter, Instagram at The Mixed Tag Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as we're trying to get more subscribers. Tell a friend to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button at the end of this video. Also follow us on our personal at
It's Jenna Baby, BAYBEE, or at
Blue Magic Grind, spell how you sound. And check out my episode of Straight Shoe Sundays with my boy Nels. You don't laugh at me.
like, you gotta know your own show, my guy. Yes.
I talk too fast.
That is our show.
Tag show.